லைஃப் ஸ்டைல் அப்புறம் சர்டிஃபிகேட் வராத பிரச்சனை இல்லை. பிரச்சனை இல்லடா. எஸ்.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, shall we start, sir?
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, okay, sir. Good morning to one and all. I'm Chitra from PS Quality Certification, Chennai. Welcome you all for today's session. We have 20 years of legacy of operations. We provide advisory support to higher education institutes across the nation for getting accreditation under NAC, NBA and NRF ranking 2. We provide advisory support to HAIS in obtaining the deemed university status and complying with other statutory requirements. Also, we do advisory support in getting certification for various ISO standards, green, energy and environmental audit and academic administrative audit. We provide training for NABL, NABH and quality tools. Also, we conduct FDP for faculties and value audit courses for students of HAIS. We also support HAIs in entering MOUs, securing consultancy funding, and establishing tie-ups with international universities. PSQC is a well-established professional research and development organization, supported by highly qualified, devoted, and experienced professional focus on achieving quality. For today complimentary webinar on effective course file management, the benchmark for academic excellence by Dr. Umesh Chandrasekhar. We are honored to introduce our expert speaker, Dr. Umesh Chandrasekhar, a highly respected academician, trainer and consultant in the field of quality assurance and higher education strategy. Dr. Umesh Chandrasekhar is a seasoned academic and industry professional with a rich career spanning journalism, international business and management education. A former associate of the Times of India, it brings a rare blend of media acumen and corporate experience to the classroom. Having worked in international sales and marketing across the UK and the United States, Dr. Chandrasekhar has held distinguished academic positions at institutions such as PSG Institute of Management and is currently a visiting professor at the Kirloskar Institute of Management, Pune, where he continues to shape the next generation of business leaders. A strong advocate of quality and excellence in higher education, he carries deep expertise in accreditation frameworks and outcome-based educations (OBE), having worked extensively with bodies such as ACBSP, Accreditation Council for Business Schools and Programs, NBA, National Board of Accreditation, and NAAC, National Assessment and Accreditation Council. With his unique combination of global industry, exposure, and academic rigor, Dr. Chandrasekhar brings both real-world perspective and institutional depth of every engagement. Once again, I am happy to welcome you, sir. You can take over the session now.
Thank you, Chitra.
Thank you, Chitra.
Good
Um,
morning to
good
all
morning.
my fellow participants. And Chitra, you may want to mute your microphone. Thank you. Welcome to this session. This is the monthly webinar which we have been presenting from PSQC, and I'm delighted to be a part of it again. We have covered several topics over the last 1 year, and this is a sort of a capstone topic as far as I'm concerned from my side. I have done audits and visits for over 35 to 40 institutions in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Pondicherry, and in some parts of Maharashtra. And I've also been closely following and monitoring a lot of institutions in Kerala. And I find that there is a serious, lacunae in the processes which will affect us in the long run. Given the new paradigms of NAAC and given the new paradigms of outcome-based education, what I feel is that the faculty's course file is the Bible or the Gita or the evidence on which all academic outcomes are based. And this one particular file, while there is in many institutions, there is a process and there is content, there is no closing of the loop. So today's session, which will probably run over 45 to 50 minutes, I will try to deconstruct it and explain the logic why we need to do certain things certain way, and also to share with you some insights as to what can be best practices. Obviously, it is not going to be possible to individually, create a value proposition for each of you, but these are some generic guidelines and some applications. Please feel free to modify. Focus on the essence of what we are trying to say rather than trying to deploy the framework the way I'm suggesting here, because each course, each stakeholder is different. Coming to that, let me just briefly outline the flow of the presentation for the next, like I said, 45, 50 minutes. Why is this strategic? If you notice, I have given the word strategic course file. Why is it strategic? The rationale and objectives I'll explain, or I'll try to discuss briefly with you. Then what is the course file architecture, which is normally, in my view, a good benchmarking, and what is the matrix we are going to follow or we should follow? And third thing is that, is it very, very important that we do it? Answer is yes, because it provides for better accreditation alignment. Topic number 3. Then there's a very short list, because the list of do's and don'ts, can run to pages, but it's a very short list of 4 major issues I normally find across my, audits. And that is the indicative do's and don'ts of faculty. Then we'll quickly overview Bloom's, and I must, like every session, I tell my colleagues attending that I am not a fan of Bloom's, because Bloom's is a pedagogical exercise. We are looking at different things, looking at heterology, andrology, and all those things, which we have discussed at length in the last seminar. You can access it online, or you can just let me know what you would like to have. Then you have got some suggested templates which I'm giving, which are basically for outlines for accreditation purposes and also ISO 21001. PSQC specializes in ISO 21001. They run several training programs. I'm not marketing it, but just to tell you, they're starting a trainer certificate program from Monday, which is a 5-evening program. It runs from 7 to 10 every evening from Monday to Friday. There's a 5-day cycle, and with certification, you can connect with them for further details. The other part of this is that how do we deconstruct the file? The file deconstruction I will show you. I will also try to give you an indicative table of contents and the rationale why we are doing it and what are the stated outcomes. Then I will share with you what I call the closing the loop, which most institutions have, very few institutions I have seen. In fact, none till I introduced it. And then what is the effective audit process? These are the 10 steps you're going to follow through. I'm sorry if I rush through things because this actually is a 2-day program in terms of faculty development, but I'll try to give you a capsule, a quick overview. So bear with me. If you have any insights or any suggestions or any concerns or any questions, please do put it in the chat box. I periodically stop and check the chat box, or if the bandwidth is quite reasonable, you can come on and you can even ask the question. No question is unimportant. No question is silly because every question will have some insight. Therefore, please feel free to ask without hesitation as to what is the point you would like to raise. Try to avoid it making it as a personal reference point because it's a generic audience. All right. So now, what is the strategic foundation? Why are we seeing that this is a course file management strategic? Very simple. We have to standardize processes. You see, because we are no longer a teaching organization or teaching institute, we have to become a learning institute. And this is very, very important. Number one. Number two, the entire transition happening in higher education is also challenging and is also, okay, you can't hear the audio? There's a comment saying they can't hear me. Can you please confirm? Because my audio is showing it very higher. Can somebody please confirm?
Yes, sir. You're audible, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, Chitra, because there's a comment there, not audio, not visible. That's fine. Okay. The second part is that,
Excuse me.
when you're documenting evidences
Excuse
for
me.
accreditation, when you're documenting evidence for your own learning and for IQAC, you have to create an institutional memory. And why is that institutional memory important? Is because faculty attrition is very, very high today. Subject changes are very, very high today. Student demands are very, very changing as we speak. Therefore, this particular strategic course file management preserves the course development history, preserves lesson plans, preserves teaching strategies across faculty transitions, and creates an effective repository of best practices, which you can document and keep and show as innovations, which is again important for accreditation. And more importantly, in many cases I have seen, especially in autonomous institutions who frame their own curriculum, that that when you're doing a 3-year revision of curriculum, there is no mother document which says why was the curriculum changed, what was the rationale of changing the credits or changing the hours or changing the module or changing the subject. So there is no analysis and no report. And when the audit happens, or when the NAC happens, or when the NAC data is there, then they want to see why you did the changes. And in the context of NEP, in the context of the skilling sets we are requiring today, it's very, very important. Therefore, that is also a part of the course plan. No, why did we change what we were doing? What was the reason for it? We have to explain that. And if you don't have a good track record of evidence, then future generation of teachers coming in, or people who are going to replace you, or people who are going to succeed you, they have no history or no documentation to refer to, because the documentation is critical for continual improvement. Next thing is that, when you do not have a substantive course file, which is database, which is, evidence-based, which creates a learning curve, then you don't create a correlation between planned teaching and outcomes. So a course file has to have a planned teaching method and an outcome achievement method. This is the two end of the spectrum of a effective course plan. Then also, my model, which I am proposing here today, I mean, it is, like I said, my iteration and my sort of, sum total of what my experience is and what my engagement has been with the institutions. This is a continuous compliance, and I'll be grateful if other people don't use any lines, huh? So now I had removed it. Okay. Okay. So these are the 4 key objectives of this particular course file development. Right. Now, let us see what are the ready-made benefits. I can list a lot of benefits, but the key stakeholders there are basically student, faculty, leadership, and auditors. The students, faculty are the direct stakeholders in this process. Leadership and auditors are the indirect stakeholders in the process. Students, when you have a course file, when it's available for access, when you have the documentation ready, it gives them an assurance of learning outcomes. It gives them the predictability of the course. It also tells them how I am doing my work, because transparency becomes important. So a good course file also creates evidence of transparencies. And this course file should be kept open. It is not locked and kept under locked and key. Students can also come and check it out if they want on a one-to-one basis, or you can discuss the course file outcomes with the students, because it is a collaborative learning exercise. The second part is that it also encourages early identification and remedy for the what I call the I don't like the word slow learners, fast learners. I think it should be people who require support and people who don't require additional support, and students who are in the upper quadrant, upper percentile of the cohort. So I would prefer that. And for faculty, again, the challenge is that faculty also has to now create a structure. Does it mean more administrative work? Answer is yes. But does it mean more clarity in the work? Answer is yes too. And Chitra, can you disable sharing and just make me the co-host, because a lot of inadvertently people are running lines on the presentation, if possible. Otherwise, it's okay. Keep on changing it. All right. So faculty also have a logic, and when the audit happens, they're prepared for it. And also, this is a portfolio of their work. And that is a very, very powerful documentation. And when it comes to appraisals at the end of it, or when it comes to the accreditation processes, when it comes to what the faculty has contributed, you see, because many faculty don't map it effectively. So, so that academic rigor and the academic performance and your honesty, transparency, and your systematic process is reflected in this course plan. And department heads, very, very important, because they can do timely monitoring, and there is an audit process, an internal audit process in place. It also ensures that there is no slippages. It also ensures that there is a course delivery mechanism in place for on-time completion of the courses. And for external auditors, it gives data. It talks of the PDC, which is Deming Cycle, Plan, Do, Check, Act, which is basically the entire basis of all accreditation and quality measures. And also, it reflects the institution's ability and the faculty's ability to continually improve themselves. These are the stakeholder benefits. In short, are there many more benefits? Yes. But this is the key stakeholder benefits, which this particular process is important. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that when you have a course file, please understand who are going to use it and what are the outcomes it is for. So this framework is important. Hence, it is strategic. So basically, we talked about PDCA here, plan, do, check, act. And here the same thing I've translated it out here: planning, delivery, assessment, and do closing. Plan, do, check, and act, which is the nomenclature which has slightly changed. So planning requires multiple steps like syllabus extract, mission mapping, COPO mapping, correlation matrices, and modular day-wise session plan. Many places I have seen lesson plan, and lesson plans are very, very sad. Topic number so and so, chalk and talk presentation, chalk and talk presentation. No. It has to be much more detailed. Therefore, I suggest that when you have a session plan, you should be much more in detail, so that when I come and audit it, I will understand that it is just not a clerical work. You have also thought about it. Because even though as a faculty, for example, if you look at strategic management or marketing management, I've been teaching for 15, 20 years. Or if you look at, say, business environment, I have been teaching for 15, 20 years. It doesn't mean that I can go to class and start showing PowerPoints or start discussion. For every hour of class, I still require half an hour of meditation and looking at my content and seeing how I can improve it. So therefore, planning is not a one-shot planning. Once you have done the file, once you've done the course plan, everything else, it still requires a daily overview so that you can remain current, up to date, and also rehearse yourself so that you can deliver better outcomes in the classroom. So the delivery is second part, which is, some point of end and session reports, delivery variants, attendance logs, supplementary material records, all these things you also provide. And one very interesting thing which many institutions do, in fact, most institutions where I have been going, I have found this. Again, the quality of reports are very poor and the quality of engagement is very, very poor, but class committee meeting, where, the HR, the program, say, suppose it is, say, BTech program, say, mechanical engineering, then, the HOD will call for a representative sample from that particular year, and then they will have a meeting, and normally there will be a committee chairman, and committee chairman basically will be somebody who does not teach the particular group of students, or that he doesn't teach that particular semester. He'll be a chairman. He will be having a meeting. He will talk to the students first and understand subject-wise how the course is going, what can be improved in the course, and is the speed okay, is the assessment okay. That feedback is taken from this particular representative group of students on a cyclical basis. In a semester, we recommend normally 3 cycles. One is, after first 3 weeks, then, after the midterm, if you're midterm, and before the semester, 2 weeks before the semester closes, so that there's a complete loop of process. So class committee meeting is a very powerful tool for evaluation of your course plan and also measuring the performance of the course plan. Just a suggestion. Then you come to assessments, which is the question paper and rubrics. Please understand, outcome-based education without rubrics is meaningless, just numbers. Outcome-based education philosophy is basically rubric-based. And if you don't know rubrics, if you don't deploy rubrics, then it is a half-hearted effort. So we need to see evidence of rubrics. Then the question often asked is, should I have rubrics for all the things? My answer is, try to do at least indicative rubrics so that you will understand that there is an evidence of practice. And also, rubrics can be standardized across various activities for the same degree or same program. Okay? So it can be standardized. I mean, in my experience, 8 or 10 standardized rubrics can be applied across the program. It's a different discussion, but I'm just sharing with you. It's possible. For example, if it's lab work, you can have one set of rubrics. If it's outcome-based project work, one set of rubrics. And remember, rubrics also have to be aligned with the course outcomes, right? Rubrics becomes critical. Without rubrics, it is just, statistical tool. No real-time improvement can happen without the rubrics, because students will not know where they're weak and where they're strong. You can tell them you didn't do it very well, you didn't do it very poorly. It's not like that. It has to have evidence-based assessment calls for rubrics, in short. Then more importantly, what happens is that, initially when we do that, by the end of the semester, I have seen they've closed it, they put all the final exam paper, they put everything, they put the grades. But what did they learn from the entire course? A faculty ran a course. If it's say a 3-grade course, normally 45 hours. And if it's a practical based thing, normally 60 hours, 60 hours of engagement, plus another 25-30 hours of evaluation marks and question paper correction. So effectively, your 3-credit course is actually 90 hours of engagement with a batch of 60, 70, 80 students. What have you learned at the end of it? I mean, a course plan, a course file is basically a documentation, but what have you learned from it? How can I improve? What are the CIP processes? That is important. And in most institutions, they take some student feedback. In institutions, normally feedback is taken at 2-3 levels. One is the end of term feedback for each subject. If you're doing that, that also should be shared, and that also should be inputted into the course file. This is the architecture of the course file as a overall 4 functional areas of the course file. Now, let us understand what are the basic philosophy behind the document. Like I said, planning, execution, assessment, and feedback. What are the basic, the artifact, the main, the crux of the matter? Phase 1 planning will be PO and CO correlation. And I have seen many institutions putting 3-2-1, 3-2-1, 3-2-1. My question to them is that please don't put like this. It's not a clerical exercise. A course outcome and a program outcome. Please have less of numbers and more of deployment. If you put, across 8 POs and 5 COs, 40, you put 3 2 3 2, it is meaningless. You cannot measure it. What is measurable, smart goal has to be put in. So PO correlation matrix must be very clearly defined so that you can measure it. Just putting it and cutting and pasting won't happen because the course plan must have evidence to measure. So again, why we do this is because when we do the audit, what we will check? We'll check for the Bloom's taxonomy mapping. Unfortunately, we are stuck with that. Though I must tell you that please, all of you who are listening, if you've not done that, please go to the NHEQF documentation, classification 4, 5, 6, UG, PG, and masters within. See what is required as the graduate outcomes there. See what they want, and you will understand that Bloom's cannot really address these outcomes effectively at all because Bloom's only cognitive. There is psychomotor, the other affective. So these things are not measured. Therefore, NHEQF measures, if you take the outcome measures and Bloom's, there's a very big gap. We can address it, but the system is based on Bloom's. So you and I we are victim of the system. So we are following Bloom's. Okay, the second part is that in execution, session logs and delivery variance. They're very important to understand because we live in uncertain time. There's a rumor there's going to be a strike among students. I don't know. Right? So then what happens? Then you get there's a flood, there is something. So if you don't track that and do readily corrections, then you'll find that there'll be a lag at the end of the term. So session logs become important. And lot of faculty say, sir, what is this you're saying? Should I also keep a log of what I'm doing? No, my study is very simple. So when I normally have a class of 60 or 45, though I have stopped teaching from this year. I can train faculty, but not students, because this generation of students, you'll appreciate, is a different, box of customers. Maybe I'm not competent. That's something which we can discuss later. But what I do is that I appoint, for my subject, I appoint 3 class reps or 3 coordinators. So any issue in the class, these 3 people can only deal with me. And they will take turns in making a brief report of what was taught. 50-word report of what was taught in the class and what was the issue. And this report, they will keep it at the end of the week or whenever the class committee comes, I pick it up and I have a report of what is the session. So session log, should you do? Answer is no. You can delegate it to your student representative. Take some 2-3 students, let them have turns. Let them also understand reporting and writing, very important. Do you create a template? Yes, please do create a template and make it short and crisp. Don't make it very long. There are ways of doing it. So that is very important. And that, many institutions do not do. And if students are going to do that for you, then what happens? That engagement level also increases. Then assessment, evaluated scripts. Whether it's an assignment, whether it's a project, whether it is a PowerPoint, I have found that, these, when I say scripts, I mean any assessment work done by the students, group activity, single activity, whether it's a quiz, a test, assignment, project work, lab work, whatever it is, there has to be a best, median, and a poor sample taken. Of course, you can mask out the names. Of course, you can take photocopies and give the original back, but mask out the names. Why we do it is because it talks about grading consistency and tool rigor. In many institutions, especially, for example, in PSG, Institute of Management, where I worked before, we had a summative audit for mandatory for all the subjects. What we would do, we are an MBA program. What we would do is that we would get an external expert, a very senior professor from a top institutions. In our case, it was IIT, DOMS, Chennai. That faculty would come in and the controller would give him or her, depending who would come, the question paper, the syllabus, and the answer scripts. This faculty would evaluate randomly the answer scripts with the question paper, evaluate the question paper quality, evaluate the evaluation quality, and see the syllabus compliance and give a report. External. And there will be a proper report, and this report will be shared in the faculty forum meeting and personally shared also. And then the HOD would work to see that there will be better quality of progressions. Because, what happens in many institutions, what will happen is that there are 2 faculties teaching 2 batches. Suppose there are 2 batches, A and B, and suppose the one subject of fluid dynamics, there may be one professor, two professors teaching, one each batch they'll be teaching. The question paper is same. But one professor, if it's like me, I am slightly more strict. If somebody else may be more generous. To rationalize this argument, this audit becomes important. So it's a part of the course file audit. And the feedback part, the most important part, closing the loop, which is never closed in institutions. I'm yet to see an institution where I'm satisfied that there is a real effort. Is very hard to find, which is called closing the loop. And this basically talks of what went right, what went wrong, what was root cause analysis for it, and then how did we adjust this. This is very, very important. It is a continual quality improvement, continuous quality improvement. This is what they will see in NAAC. This is what they see in NBA. And of course, ISO 21001, especially new standard 25, is really, really very, very important for us to adhere to this process. So this is the artifact matrix. I hope I am clear, slightly technical, but I would like to go through this just to make sure that you get a feel of what is the gap we need to cover in our own institutions to make sure that at least we achieve 60% compliance of what I'm saying here today. Right. So now what is the benefit of this? Because it gives you a very clear accreditation alignment. A deconstructed course file, is basically deconstructed means detailed course file. And this becomes the evidential repository. In fact, whenever we go for a course audit, there's something called the course delivery audit, which many institutions do not do. But in one institutions where in Kerala, where I was a professor as lead college, we would have that. We would have external experts coming in, 4 experts coming in. They would interview the faculty, see the course files, see what they're doing, attend the classes, take student feedback, and then close the loop. So a deconstructed course file will be a primary evidentiary repository for major accreditation bodies, including NAAC and NBA, especially NBA, very critical. And again, if you look at NAAC, 1 to 6, documented curriculum delivery, student-centric methods, and IQC governance, all 3, this is an evidence of that. NBA 237, I've taken a generic outcome here, value-based education, a validated outcome-based education, CO attainment, and systematic closing of feedback loop. And by the by, this 21-25 EOMS clause 8 and 10 continual improvement has been strengthened now. Outcome-based education is very much an important part of ISO new standards. So it is one of the very mother documents for this particular exercise. And that's the reason why I call a deconstructed course file as the Bible for the faculty and institution. Right? So this is the one part of the presentation where I'm giving you the strategic purpose and the logic of why we need to have a deconstructed course file or a course, I would say course management document is a better way of putting it. Okay. Now, see, modern based auditing requires 100% of course outcomes must have verifiable direct and indirect matrices. Mandates it. And by compiling good detailed student marks, distribution, sample evaluation, action taken reports, we can eliminate non-conformities during the review itself. Right? So benchmark targeting becomes important. Is it 100%? No, 100% is traceable. Please understand, 100% not target, it's a traceability. Is the evidence traceable? 100% answer should be yes. This is the benchmark of traceability in terms of what the course delivery is. Now, so what normally we do is that, it's a cyclical process. Normally, a syllabus or a curriculum in my experience is a 3-year cycle. After 3 years, you'll review and probably create a new version of the curriculum. So, like for example, if you're looking at if the course outcome attainment, obviously, you will have to have some starting point somewhere. So, I mean, suppose you have a CQI loop. Suppose you find that 62% was the CO attainment. Now, CO attainment itself is a different challenge, and it has to be done by the two-tail method. I will not go into it, but most of the CO attainments given is all statistically incorrect in most institutions. We can share it later. So there is a chance that if you apply root cause analysis, you can improve next year. And again, if you do ATR and follow it, you can improve next year. So if you're looking at a 95% goal of achievements or 95% of transparency achievement, you over a 3-year cycle, this particular course file management, strategic course file management can give you CQI improvements, continual quality improvements, only if you close the loop. This is the logic and this is the outcome we want from a deconstructed course file management. So this is something which is there already. I'm not going to go too much into it. This is a COPO matrix template which is there. Remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, create. Like I said, higher order learning, lower order learning, all these things are aware of. So I will just jump this slide. But what you must understand is that in many cases, when you see the course outcome action verbs and when you see the assessment methods, there is a mismatch. In many cases, you will see the higher order, create, etc., cannot be done in a question paper or assignment. In many cases, I have seen faculty linking the CO to the wrong tool or the inappropriate tool, and that has to be understood. So all your CO outcomes cannot be measured with the written exam or assignment or something. There has to be experiential learning, there has to be field learning, there has to be practical learning, and also please understand that in certain points of time you may find that some other subject may also collaborate or calibrate your course outcome for a subject based on how strategically you create your design as a faculty group. So that also is important to understand. The point is that please make sure that you use the appropriate tool or the appropriate outcome for Bloom's taxonomy. Then most important thing is that weak learners and advanced learners. I don't like these words. I'm using the words because that's what we normally use. One very, very important is that when you have the course line, you will also have an action template where you find out weak learners and advanced learners. And why is it important? Because I have found if you don't do it early on, identification, then you cannot, you create history. You don't do anything, you create false records. You will show attendance, you show all those false records. Therefore, the course plan must reflect what you do. For example, mandatory remedial sessions or peer-assisted tutoring, very, very important, group activity based. Assignment sets can be revised. You can give a special help out books. You can create a feedback training record in the course file. That, it's not that, you have done that, you've done, no. Was there improvement? Suppose in a class of 60, you found that, or 20 people, 1/3 were below 50%, if that's a pass mark or whatever you want to do. If there are say 20 people at the end of the cycle, this 20, after say in the midterm exam, this 20 become 10 or become 25. So you have to show that improvement. And advanced learners, you see, advanced learners should champion your subject. And you can give them a bit more, you can give them a bit more to encourage them. I know, and in many cases I've seen, I am guilty, you may call it unethical, but sometimes the students are very, very good. Not all, just 5, 6, 7 students are really, really good. They come to a class prepared, they ask you questions, and I know that they can work independently. I don't need to teach them these things. I give them work and say, Baba, do the work and come back. Do some extra work and come back. They're happy to. And in fact, in my experience, in a batch of 60 students, if you see your course plan, 1/3 of the course plan design which you have made, topics you have made, 1/3 may not be taught, need not be taught. Students can self-learn, you can assess them outright. So that takes away the pressure of trying to teach things which they can learn easily by themselves. Because there are better teachers, better resources available online, offline, whatever you want. And so therefore, facilitate that part of the learning. What you find easy, after the first cycle of teaching, you will get that. What you find that easy, why this is okay, or this we can let it run down a bit, or we can take it offline. Reduce that in the course plan so that you have a better opportunity for dealing with the weak learners and the advanced learners. So it's very, very important course outcome is that this template is critical in your course plan. Also in your course file. When I say course plan, I mean course file also. Okay. So then you have got what's called, if today, unfortunately, because of data, I think we require a digital process in place. And LMS is very, very important. Most institutions have LMS, whether the LMS is geared up or whether the management has invested substantive amounts of funds, because these are expensive. It's not cheap. You're looking at lakhs and lakhs and lakhs. You're looking at probably a good LMS system which integrates everything. There are companies doing it. A lot of companies are also using Moodle But model some point of time require consultancies to do it because it's not a self-perpetuating model. But if you look at, say, a bespoke solution, which a lot of companies today are offering, you are looking at a annual factor of between 12 to 15 lakhs at least per year for a mid-sized institution. So it is not, it's a very, very major investment. Many times you do it just for paperwork, just for this thing, but to deploy full, it is 10 to 12 lakhs in my experience. But if it's followed aggressively, and if it's documented aggressively, it gives you automated session logins, one-click calculations. It gives you a repository of course plan, course file, every storages. It also gives you alerts, because if there's a variation, it gives you a systematic signal. So digital LMS integrated as a course file is definitely helpful. It saves a lot of administrative and technical headache for the faculty. There is a cost-benefit trade-off. And I personally feel that if it's deployed effectively, then there is definitely a benefit to the entire process of quality. This is my take on it. Now, moving further along, this is again ISO 25 PDC authorization. We're looking at plans. So like, you know, ISO has got 10 clauses primarily. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are important. Clause 6, clause 8 is covered by plan. Do is clause 8. Clause 9 is check. And clause 10 is the end part. So PDC operationalization of this course plan or course file. Again, I get confused. Course file is also ISO compliant if done effectively. Is there any question or anything you want me to review or want me to go back to? Please let me know. I'm taking a 30-second gap just to drink a bit of water. So please tell me if anything is not clear or you would like some additional clarifications. There is one text. Root cause analysis. That is a totally different subject. We have done something in the earlier seminars. Root cause analysis, there are quite a few methods to be used. The 5W method, or there is a fishbone method, or there is a why. Root cause analysis. So I'll give you one simple logical example here for 2 minutes. Is a diversion, since I'm a management faculty, I mean, let us assume a different. Suppose I go to doctor and I say, doctor, I am having fever, I'm having diarrhea, I'm shivering, and I'm having body ache, right? So please give me some medicine. Please give me some medicine. I have a huge problem like this. So what does the doctor do? Doctor says, oh, you got diarrhea, take Imodium or Lomatil or whatever it is. Oh, you got fever, take Calpol 650, and you got vomiting, take travel sickness pill and go. I feel better. Right? I feel better. But what's happening inside, I don't know. Whereas Ayurveda will do Nadi Prakshana, will do root cause analysis. A better doctor, what he will do? A better doctor will say, no, Dr. Umesh Chandrasekhar, fever, diarrhea, and loose motion is not your problem. Correct? In many cases, I have seen institutions address fever, diarrhea, and other things, but don't understand that these are symptoms of a dysfunction. So I need to find out why the dysfunction happened. So one way is that, okay, Dr. Umesh, please go and give for blood test, stool test, urine test. I will get a report, and from that I'll try to find out whether you got infection, whether you got other issues, and we'll do a scan, other things. A root cause analysis, see, when there's evidence, you see some variance, it may be just something which is totally, it's called the acupuncture effect, I call it. I mean, if you have a headache, if you go to acupuncture, they'll put a needle in your bottom, because that's where the root cause lies. So root cause analysis is very, very critical to understand where is the base of the problem. Right? I mean, this is one fun example I've given you. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. It is a small template, a small organization, fewer people is very difficult. No, it is not. It is not. In fact, the fewer the people is better. I would say, I would put it to you, because fewer people means they're more invested. They're more invested. Even see, even in a family, suppose in a family, you understand, in a family also we do RC, 3 people in a family. Why did my child behave badly, or why did I become angry with my child? Root cause analysis may be something else, So it is a functional approach. Whether we can scale it up or not is something which is there. And FDP upon COPO, FDP, it has to be a 5-day workshop, 3-day workshop. We can't run a COPO FDP because these are customized. And so it is just not exercise in mapping, is exercise in outcomes. So that is an FDP. If your institution wants an FDP on this, please talk to my fellow people at PS Quality. They'll be able to help you. Okay. But RCA workshop is needed. Yes, we see this RCA is done as a part of our internal audit training for ISO. But definitely whatever you'd like, all these things are doable. RCA workshop is a 1-day workshop. No problems. So all this, whatever you feel you require, the chat is being recorded. So I'm sure my team will come back to you on this. Thank you again. Thank you, Sharda. Okay, so this is how this framework works. Now you understand the logic of why I'm saying this is the Bible, because it is not only delivering NAC, NBA, and ISO, and it is a testament for quality. And by the by, if you go for international accreditations, for example, ACBSP for management or AACSB, then again, this cognitive level is mapping with P1 because P1 is apply level. How is it possible? Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's a question of higher degree, higher level. You see, for example, I don't really believe, it depends on what subject you're teaching. For example, if it's a PG program, you don't say understand the concept. It's a given. So no, normally what I tell institutions that, when you're doing this understanding the concept, you take it out. For an elective, for an elective subject, if you don't understand the concepts, so there's something called C0 measure. This is a very, debatable and a very, emotional area one can touch upon. Ramesh, thank you very much. But it is again how you design your POs, how you design your COs. You see, that's what I'm saying. When you say understand, what do you understand? And if you look at that's why I'm saying, if you look at the NHEQF new standards, you'll see that Bloom's does not fit in at all. My biggest challenge is understand. At the end of this subject, the student understand. What will understand? He'll understand Newton's law. Fine. Understand and reconstruct the Newton's law, because there is a Newton's laws of motion. You can do a reverse reconstruction, or understand and state examples. So it has to be a higher value addition than just understand. And for us, it's easy because we do MCQs and finish off. Anyway, so Ramesh sir, this is a huge discussion. Some other day for us, but thank you for your observation. There is a huge mismatch in CO and PO. That's why I would like to say, in fact, there is a session which we have done, I think, on alternative taxonomies as a webinar, which if the link is available, Chitra can share with you, and drop her a line. And then if it's available, it's do that. All of them certainly. No, Abhirami, it is not. It is a 3-year cycle. It's a 3-year cycle. Benchmark, it's 3-year cycle always. Because, by the time you will have a new syllabus. And 3-year cycle, why? Because, if you look at, say, the NBA parameter or NAC parameter, 3-year cycle is what the normal cycles are. Year 4, you don't do. Year 4 is again, you start again. But to have some continual improvement, you can't keep having different data every year. And why I'm saying 3 years is that because suppose you have a subject, suppose you got, say, AI in manufacturing as a subject, and you establish this in your 2026 batch curriculum. 2026 batch has just started or is going to start now. Suppose you're putting the subject in the curriculum. So this is going to be there for 3 years. So this particular subject, AI and manufacturing, will be there for 3 years. So you'll have a 3-year consistent approach. At the end of 3 years, you must show some progression, some improvement. Because at the next cycle of the syllabus revision or curriculum revision, you will have input data to tell why I am removing these topics or why I am modifying the syllabus or why I am doing the module changes or what I am implementing to bring it up to date. That's the evidence you require. And please also be very clear, there is still a habit of, this syllabus design, module 1, module 2, module 3, module 4, module 5. And, very conveniently, CO1, CO2, CO3, CO4, CO5, which are module based. No. A course outcome is for the entire course. You cannot have module outcomes and course outcome. It is not a module outcome. It's a course outcome. It's a course learning outcome. So you please do not create on module 1 basis. The question is module basic. The question is, can you do it? Yes, but that's a higher level of skill which we will not be able to deliver given our system of education in this country. Therefore, you have the overall COs. And because module 1 will be introduction, blah, blah, blah. What will you do with that? Therefore, please make sure that the 5 COs are for the entire course. Course objectives, course outcomes. All right. I hope I have cleared that part. Nice to know that we have an interesting engagement of audience today. I am deeply appreciative for the audience who are participating. Welcome. And we have got about 100 plus, which is a very nice group to work with. Okay. Please put on chat box. I may not give names, but I will just keep on answering. Okay. As and when I can. All right. So this is the, okay, now let us come to the course file deconstruct. Like I told you, it's a plan, do, check, and act. Have is the word S here, which is study. Study means analyze. All right. So let me go through this. This is important. Research papers is the course file. 100% yes. 100% yes. And I'll tell you why. For example, my daughter is, I have a young daughter and she's doing second year in Vauxhall University, which is in outside of Hyderabad, the district actually. It's Vauxhall, people have heard of it. They've got it's a university. In fact, they were introduced, she is the first year, she has done, which is the basic of design. She has the second design, they have talked of design imaging. You know what the first assignment they have been given? They have been given 2 papers to analyze as a part of the session plan. And I think research papers, you have to curate carefully and you have to train the students early on. Because why I'm saying this is because that's why I'm saying, look at NHEQF, level 4, 5, 6. You'll find that research is now the basis of a lot of evaluation of skills. So I think research papers at UG level are important. How much depth you need to go, what you need to create is very, very important. In fact, in many cases, what we do is that, especially I don't deal much with UG program, but one BBA program I taught, and we created a meta paper. It was on international business. We created a meta paper. The 60 students, I gave them one item each, and we had a very nice meta paper coming out. So it is, yes, it's possible. Are the students up to it? Today they have got all sorts of tricks, Gemini, this, that, AI, all those things. They can do better than you. The only risk is that you have to evaluate them on a one-to-one basis. So that is one thing which is there. Okay. So the assessment plan is something which, like I've explained to you just now, that this is a part of the integrated process. Again, if you're going to give a research paper outcomes, if you're going to make them work in a group, you can create that because it depends on what subject you've got. For example, in technology, there are a huge number of papers. So you can take a subject analysis and do that. Of course, you must have access to the papers. Create papers, create paper subsets, take a topic and put some indicator papers. Let them work on it. And again, going back to the detailing of assessment of how you do this outputs of assessment, that is a different subject. But is it doable? Yes. Is it recommended? Yes. Why? Because NHEQF wants the research inbuilt into the process at the UG level itself. You can see it. Go to the document, NHEQF criteria, you see it there. So basically, this is a 5-level step, which I think it is plan, do, study, analyze, and close the loop. And all the three things from IQAC point of view, you require an audit. Yeah, it's a preterm audit. A preterm audit means before the course start itself, 1 month before or 1 week before, you should be ready with this entire part A of this. Part number 1, you should be ready with this, and this should be audited. The HOD will sign off, the faculty will sign off, approval is given there, and then that is also posted online or ready for circulation to the students. Very, very important. The second part is the operational part, which is how you deliver the course and how you do the assessments during the course. And normally this happens if you have a midterm examination point. After the midterm examinations, we do this audit also to understand what is the compliance part, and more important, to understand what are the gaps we need to cover before you close the course. And at the end of this semester, when everything happens, all the results come in, then again a detailed analysis and closure is important in terms of audit compliance. Once that is done, then you have a learning. Then obviously at the end of it, when you meet for the next cycle, these findings, evidences, and this understanding must be shared in a faculty meeting. Okay. And obviously what happens when you do this is that you also get insights into innovative practices, what faculty has done. You can encourage them. It's a part of the appraisal process. And that's the reason why audit also becomes important. And this 3-stage audit also eliminates a lot of, challenges in delivery and challenges in document compliance, because after 15 weeks, you might have lost documentation. In the middle, if you check, it happens. And obviously, if you notice, there are a lot of sub-elements here, which I am going to start doing next. And, this is a detailed presentation. I think this will be available to you after the end of the session as a PDF. Chitra will tell you that because she has the file, and it's up to PS quality what they share. Okay. So now, are we okay so far? Any messages? No, nothing yet so far. So this is clear so far. So we have come to that. Now you understood logic. So if I'll just go back to the table of contents, you see now you've done that. You see we have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we're working on 7, 8, 9, 10. The second part of the of this particular presentation today. Right now, first is plan. This is the plan part. You see. I'm not going to discuss this in detail. Chitra, are we sending the PPT out?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Then you can read it. So, for example, what is the plan? Course file creation as per table of contents, which has been mandated, and course allocation letter. Right. It can be a letter given to you. If it's a visiting faculty or an adjunct faculty, the letter must be separately given by the HOD. Otherwise, HOD can have a circular saying that for this semester, so-and-so will teach this, so-and-so will teach this, so-and-so to which that letter should be there, signed and sealed. And if the Dean Academic, he must also approve of it. Yeah, the process has to be pakka. Thank you for giving me a cheer. Okay. Then syllabus extract. The syllabus copy must be there for your subject. Extract must be there. And the course plan templated, session plan. I don't like the lesson plan. Session plans are much more in-depth. Session plan included. And in that course plan, you must have a well-defined template which is standardized for everybody. You decide that. There are samples available online, and you can customize it. And that must have the vision, POCO map put right at the beginning. Every course plan must have that. It can be a cover sheet itself. I don't care. Then you have to have a modular course plan. So we work on modules 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This modular course plan, when you work, must replicate the syllabus module topic. For example, suppose you are saying session number 1, module 1. You cut and paste the topics from the syllabus into that, and then you deconstruct it further. Very, very important, because ISO will look at this compliance part. That are you really breaking down the syllabus into manageable components, and are you delivering value? And how are you delivering the component? right? So that becomes very, very important, right? The second part is that in the modular topics, what the topics you're going to cover, what is the delivery mode? Just don't put chalk talk, but you're creative, yeah. Everywhere chalk talk, doesn't work. And you may argue, no, sir, very big, we have got big classes. I understand all those things, but try to at least bring some creativity. Yeah, do flip learning, or let's do a presentation of what they know and then you beat them up. So a lot of things you can do. So delivery mode of how you're going to deliver this particular session. What is the assessment if it's valid, if it's applicable, because all time it may not be there, but your course plan must show the formative assessments, which most of us do. It must have all the 5 COs. If you have 5 COs for the subject, normally people have that. It should be mapped, and end term, all 5 years must be aligned. And if you notice, there's something called Part C here, which again, Part C normally most institutions prefer a final paper with 5 questions. ABC, 1 ABC, 2 ABC, 3 ABC, 4 ABC, 5 ABC, where A will be CO0, CO1, B will be CO2, CO3, and C will be the meat of the file, meat of the question. You know, like analyze, describe, construct, blah blah blah. All those things come in 5. So normally, it's each question 1 to 5 will have 20 marks each, and they will have 4, 6, and 10. So A will be 4, B will be 6, C will be 10. Right. So now what we will do? We will do the evaluation. So C01, the 4 marks. So your question 1 is linked to a CO. Okay, whatever CO. So question 1, the fellow has mugged up the theory. What is define gravity and state a formula, for example, or what is Boyle's law and give a formula. That is vomit. He will vomit it. Very easy question. What is Boyle's law? 2 marks. Formula 2 marks. 4 marks is got. So out of 20, 4 marks is got. 660. In the experiment doing, what would you expect the results to be? That also will vomit and give. So first thing he has scored 4 marks. Second thing he has done so out of 6 he gives 3 marks. How much has he got? 4 plus 3 is 7. 10th is an industry, or you say that there is a vacuum company which wants to build this. So how would you describe the process and what are the precautions they must take? I'm giving some examples to you. So this is a apply high level question. Or 10 marks, the fellow will write something very, very substandard. He'll put some nonsense. You'll give him 3 or 4. So part C, which is the meat of the question, the fellow has failed. He's got 4 out of 10, 40%. But he's got how much? 4 plus 3, 7 plus say 4, 11. Or you may give him 12. So 12 out of 20 he has got for question number 1, 60% outcome achieved. Clap, clap, clap. Fact of the matter is that the fellow has actually failed their outcome. Is it not? The meat is in. So you get the point what I'm trying to. I'm just saying these are some insights I'm giving you. You may not be able to deploy it. See, whenever I have these presentations, I understand the organizational constraints and limits you work at. My mission in life at this age is not to change institutions, it's to empower faculty. And faculty today may not be able to empower themselves, but there may be a chance tomorrow, there may be a chance day after tomorrow, where you can do it at a different institutions. My philosophy is if you empower faculty, you empower institutions. So I'm not worried about institutions. I'm worried about you as a faculty in a process of developing yourself. Please understand. So then, additional reading, content, support material, very, very critical. And there's somebody asked about case studies, somebody asked about research articles, somebody asked about web links. Yes, of course you can give. And this is nothing has happened. It's just what I want to do. And this also has to be audited to understand consistency, transparency, rigor, and whether there's enough masala to justify the course execution. Next part will be do, which is the delivery. Delivery will have a class sessions, obviously logic. It will have the supplementary input sessions. Sometimes you'll have guest lectures. Sometimes you give them field visits. Sometimes you may do something else. And obviously attendance records. And why attendance records? We need to understand attendance records. Very simple reason. Because tomorrow, if we don't keep a track of it, you may find that at the end of it, the fellow may be debarred. And you had a chance of early warning system. You may say others are doing it, but in your class, you must, run the list across. And that's why in class committees, which we have, we always share the list. Please tell, these are the people who are risk. Please deal with it. We tell the student representatives who go and tell it further on. Okay. And if you have a mentor system, student mentoring system by the faculty, that also shared with the mentor. So mentor can also tell to their wards. Okay. Then the other part is that assessment. What is your internal assessment stages? What are the tools you used? Test and maps to COs. Then you got detailed scores of students and identification of weak and strong learners. What is your support strategy and what is the evidence of engagement and what did you improve upon them? Can you save everybody? No. In my experience, it's the ABC analysis. Out of 60 students, A are those students who will do extreme level even without you teaching them. They are there like that. They will do well. A. So please don't help them. They are very good. B are the people who can do very well or double their rate of learning or really progressively improve. B is where you help them. And C will have people in the class who I say God help them. Literally, you know that. Because we have admitted them or they have fallen off the ranks, and it is not the case of even IIMs have these cases, even IITs have these cases. But these people you cannot ignore. You have to show some progression. So, can you change everybody into strong learners? No. Can you solve all weak learners? No. The system may want you to do it because they want a 95% pass rate, 99% pass rate. But in terms of outcome-based education, you cannot save everybody, but there should be some progression of improvement, right? Then you have, if you have a midterm assessments stages, for example, mostly in year 1 of any program, I would suggest midterm assessments because learning curve happens. And I think every year up to the final year, if it is 4-year program, midterm assessments become important because it's a good benchmarking. In the final year, we don't have midterm assessment because placements will happen, projects will happen, all those things. We don't want midterm. And because you go for elective streams, sizes can be small. So that is a different strategy. So this scoring, and then end-term assessment has to be mapped. In many cases, end-term assessments cannot be mapped. If you're non-autonomous and affiliated, then obviously the results are with the control of examination of the university. You won't get the data. What to do? That's why. But if you have a mock final exam, suppose you conduct a mock final exam, treat that as outcome. Okay, because most institutions who are affiliated non-autonomous will have a final mock exam for the students to prepare or practice for the final university exam. That mock exam can be taken as the outcome-based, modular outcome-based paper. Because most of the papers I've seen, university papers have the COPO progression. All right, this is the do part. And now, what is the learning curve from this is what you need to understand. Now, this is the study part, PDSA. Course plan delivery effectiveness. How was the course plan delivered? Were you satisfied? Could you have done better? This comes in your course plan. Summative exam outcome result. Okay, because formative audio running. If you go back, you're running the formative yourself because real time. Summative will come at the end of the semester, right? So that outcome and student feedback also comes at the end of semester. And then POCO, achievement matrix and report, and root cause analysis and ATR draft state. This must be ready. But at the end of the semester, can we have a draft of what we did and what we need to do? And that template I will share with you along the presentation. Then you have what's called the most important thing. This is a closed closure report. Closed closure report will have documentation review, faculty feedback on the course plan compliance, delivery of course variances, assessment tool quality, innovation, keep on going the full list. And learning outcomes and science for next cycle. And this also is the end term. And this audit becomes critical because this is the repository audit. This is what defines the quality of your teaching, learning, experience, and delivery of the subject. So this is the act part. So if you notice, so there are 3-term audit before the course begins. IQAC will do the audit to make sure there's rigor and there's compliance with the course plan and course design and what is proposed to be delivered, how it is being delivered, a midterm analysis, and finally what was delivered and what was the outcome as a end-term analysis. there any question about this so far, or are you all right? Any question, please ask, okay? So there are certain templates which we can suggest. I'm just going to go through this slide because templates are customized. And okay, thank you, Sharda. So this is something we can do. That again, if there's LMS is there, life is much easier to. Okay, so because there's a lot of work which happens, administrative work, and faculty get tired of it. In fact, in many cases, what I do is that I take students' help, not to evaluate, but to work with the processes. I take students' help, and it's very, very useful. Very, very useful. Session log they can do. Lesson plan compliance they can do. And if you're doing COPO, if internal component marks are shared, they can help you to enter. All this they can do. Okay. So it is very, very easy if you have LMS to do it. But that is something, like I said, an LMS helps. And again, IQAC is a very, very important. And most institutions, it's a matter of observation and comment. IQAC requires a full-time dedicated person. If you're even if it's a small institution, a large institution, IQAC requires a more rigor and more. In fact, there's one institution in Coimbatore, which is in NRF top ranking always consistently. It's an all-women's institution, and they have a building called IQAC with about 20-30 people working non-stop. And full-time people engaged in that. And actually, IQAC is not an academician's job. You have to have a quality expert, you have to have a management expert, you have to have a documentation expert, and you must have something, a person who can work as an entrepreneur, as an entrepreneur within the system to create value. But people look at cost. I would think IQAC has become very, very important. And in the current context, IQAC has to be strengthened 10x or 5x, depending on how you feel about it. Because you can't leave it because of data, because of NAC. NAC is digital, NAC is evidence, digital-based evidence. You cannot, fool NAC anymore. You have to post evidence in real time onto the websites and onto your resources. So be very careful. IQAC has to be strengthened. Digital team has to be strengthened. Social media team has to be strengthened. Okay. So now let me just briefly go through some of the table of content for courses. This is not the final word. Please customize it based on your own individual requirement. This is just an indicative sample which I have created and deployed in some places. Okay. The first thing is that this is how and it should be professional. It should not be cut all nonsense. No. Standardized, well black and white printed. No need of color. But it should look decent. It shouldn't be like cut and paste. Proper file, proper system, so that the professionalism is reflected. In many institutions, I don't find this. They still use plastic pouches and keep paper. Or they pull out the paper and paper goes flying everywhere. It has to be neatly filed, neatly tabulated, so that I can make it easy to read. It should be a professional document, because this particular course file is, like I said, a Bible. How do you treat a Bible, or how do you treat a Bhagavad Gita? You don't cut and write, or you don't throw it. You have to give it the respect and the professionalism it requires. So this should be a nice cover page with the subject code, course code, whatever it is. There should be a formal letter. Next one. Next should be syllabus and the timetable, because timetables are decided semester attached. Then there should be a detailed course plan completed, signed and sealed by HOD and uploaded into the LMS or shared with the students in whichever way are doing it. Yeah, please don't do WhatsApp. WhatsApp is also evidence, but try to create a more formal structure of delivery. Then you have to have a detailed course plan. Template has to be created by IQAC and approved by HOD. Document include following information: course objectives, course outcome, methodology of delivery, right? And lesson plan, session plans, and session must contain the terms in the syllabus. Then it should be assessment instruments incorporated and mapped to COs. Students' name list is very, very important. Attendance reports periodically you must put into the report. Course outcome trackers, which is midterm, internal, external examinations you must create. Attainment of course outcomes, internal assessment, separate file because it's formative and summative, and analysis attainment at the midterm level. Why midterm level? Because you can find out the people who have risk of failing or who are not a risk of falling off from the process. That program outcomes, again, scores at midterm internal examinations, and program outcome must be mapped for the entire program. So that at the end of the semester, you must have the entire program outcome mapped. And you must have a program, what's called the COPO measure grid. You must have each semester COs and POs. How many times you met the POs? PO1, 8, 9, 10, 11, the count must be there and the loading must be given there on each semester-wise basis. There should be end of the term report by AQSC based on what coursework you're giving. Okay, then action taken report, wherever there's a action taken report for being student, you have to create that. Then unit-wise lecture notes, hard and soft copy samples. If you have got a logic giving a lecture notes or you're giving some handout notes, that must be there. Or you give a summary in the session plan itself based on your requirement. And most, UG classes today, they want lecture notes because they can just read it and pass the exam. That's also acceptable to me. But if you have lecture notes, make sure that it is unit wise or whatever wise, it is kept in your file, because that shows us the input you're putting into the course. That's fine. Then you have got the module internal tests. You've got internal tests, midterm tests, end term exams, questions and retest questions. If you've taken retest, also must be included, and with answer keys. Why answer keys? Answer keys are important because it gives you transparency in the process. In fact, every time I have a midterm test, assignments, quizzes and all, they self-evaluate, I just self-evaluate. Suppose I have two batches, A and B, roll number A1 will evaluate B1 and B1 will evaluate A1 in papers, and they will do cross-evaluation based on the benchmark I give them. And then I verify marks to make sure randomly that there is no matter of love and everything else, no cheating happens. And 99% the marks are quite acceptable. Midterm exam, I release the answer key. And if you're totally autonomous and you create your own question paper, you must release the answer key. It's a matter of morality from my point of view, because the student is going to tomorrow question your evaluation and go for appeal or go for revaluation. He must know what is expected. Therefore, I know the controller may disagree with me here, but I think an answer key should be given. So that after the exam is over, everything is over. Yeah. In fact, even before even if the marks are given out, before the marks are given out, officially published, you can give the answer key. But when the student sees the marks and sees the answer key, he or she will have less of dispute. And then it is fair. No, why should they don't know what is expected of the answer. They have no answer key, and then they'll invest money and they find that nothing happens. That's also not right. And it also mitigates frustration and mitigates the anger or the angst. So answer key you give, and life is jingalala, as I call it. Then you must have subject related case studies, cases, articles of journal, magazines. Somebody asked just now, has to be there. And what is your right column is when you need to give it. Before starting, sometimes you may find something interesting has come up, especially in a management subject. Some article comes up suddenly. They know you have to introduce it in the class there and then, right? So please understand, a course plan is not written in stone. It is written in pencil. Most of it is in pen, some parts in pencil, because you may be able to supplement it on the day based on some important discovery. I mean, for example, suppose you're doing a subject and that day Nobel Prize is being given out, and it is to do the subject. Interesting topic to discuss. So you introduce that. So that's the parameter. List of assignment projects and topics. You must give, the detail of listing must give, so that people understand what you're doing. So that is the reason why. And I have seen a lot of shortcuts here. Again, I'm not blaming you. It's a question of work pressure. I'm giving you best practice examples here. If you're giving a group activity, it cannot be more than 3. 5 means cheating. Take it from me. 3. 2 is ideal. 3 is possible, but 5 is impossible. You know it, I know it, right? Because they will do all sorts of work. And again, when you have presentations, please reserve the right to tell them that you will not decide who will come in order. I will randomly decide who will start. You do a presentation, let them say, okay, you start. Then, after 3-4 slides, randomly change. And if they say, no, I don't know, he did it, 0. I'm just giving you some tricks of trade here, okay? Then list of seminars and guest lecture topics. Today, industry engagement has become important. Non-academic teaching has become important. So maybe if your ecosystem supports it, get some industry people or get some practitioner people, get some alumni who are working in the area, if you like, take some guest lectures. Very, very important. Then subject-related lecture videos, any video supporting learning process. If you're taking videos from, say, any sources, Udemy, Academy, or whatever it is, make sure it is mentioned there. YouTube, make sure it's mentioned there. And you yourself can create some small videos as a supportive learning strategy for people in support. And those also become very, very important. 3 minute videos, minute videos, you know, it's called micro lessons. Create that. Okay. And internal mark tabulation with analysis, external tabulation with analysis and closure report. Supplementary information which you need will be class committee feedback, and you require the best average and poor samples of internal external assessments you will require. This is the entire thing. 21 items. Actually, it's more. Probably 30-40 items will come in. Is it difficult? Yes. But is it doable? Yes. You know, faculty also has to understand that, you know, see, we are not, see, if this is just a business for us, then we lose. We have to have passion. So that, you know, and this is a bread and butter. So unless you're current in your teaching and you're current in your processes, you will find that you will be found wanting in the later. Now, let me just briefly go through a couple of more things which I have done. What's called the course closure report is what's going to happen. One example I've given you, course closure report. You understand this is a tool. Okay, what tool did I use to measure? Why I want to find the tool efficacy fit. I told you if you're going to use Bloom's as a course outcome, the relevancy of tool is very, very important. Okay. And you know, on top you got the course code. I know faculty batches taught. Sometimes faculty will teach 2 batches possible. Yeah. And what is the total student count? Because you know, if a faculty is teaching 120 students into, you know, like a morning, say 9 to 10:30 will take one batch, and 10:30 will take another batch, back to back 120 students or 200 students. I mean, I feel sorry for the faculty, but this course outcome report will also reflect and look, this is the volume of teaching the person is doing. And this is the tools. And I give some tools at the bottom. I've given you here what tools you can use. The next part will be that the achievement table. Achieve target at 50%, 1.5, 1.8, 2.1. Don't worry about it because I have a different measure. Outcome-based education will be different. I use a two-tail method. Just to give a quick example for you. Suppose there are a batch of 100 students in your class. So, forget 100. Let us say 60 students in your class. 30 students score 40% and 30 students score 80%. What is the average achievement? 60%. Oh, very good. CO 60%. It's a lie because half of your class has failed. Therefore, I want two-tail. So I am saying that in a class of 60, you know, not more than 20% will score below 50. And at least 10% will score over 70. I set targets. Between that, I draw two-tail. If I achieve both, that at least 10% get over 70 and less than 15% or 20% fail, that means my course outcome has been achieved. So there's a rating 2.1, 70% achievement. This is a different exercise. I've just shown this to you as a matter of example. Okay, then, you know, please list below probable cause of CO. You see, sometimes when you talk to students and when you look at the evaluation processes, you'll understand many times the students have not prepared or have not written very well. I have seen most cases, if it's a 5-part paper, you know, even the midterm also we use the same model. We use 2 questions we use in our institution because that way student gets practice to the final paper. So two question part ABC, I was telling you, part ABC, we say do it in say 1 hour. Because final exam is 2.5 or 3 hours. So 1 hour they will do. So part ABC you will find in many cases students have vomited. You know, part A, which is 4 marks, may require only 40-50 words. Part B of 6 marks may require 60 to 100 words. But part C may require 300 words. Ulta. So did they attempt the paper in the way, did you qualify the paper, or was the question confused, or was the lack of effort? All these things must be reflected here. It's quite possible that the question paper was badly designed. Quite possible, right? It's quite possible to the student didn't understand what he wanted. Or it's quite possible that student, you know, did not prepare. It's equally possible. Therefore, that reason analysis, should it be perfect? No, it can be indicative, but it should be in your this thing. And if you have got a parallel subject somewhere happening and the same thing is happening with other faculty colleagues, not in the CO but in the achievement levels, you will understand that there is a problem. For example, if you notice that suppose in a semester of 6 subjects and you know a bunch of students are failing in 3 subjects regularly, 1 fail I will allow for a student, and you let him fail. But if in a batch of 60, suppose 5 people have got 3 or more failures out of 6 papers, means they are the weak learners outright. So that is the issues which you have to address here. Then course delivery feedback. This was basically the achievement, the delivery feedback. Course intent and completion was early per schedule, you need more time. Cooperative assessments, good average score. Your assessment, topic syllabus relevance can be updated, major changes. You see all these things at the end of the course, you have to give feedback. CO mapping, how was it? Was it good? Was it clear? Do you need to revise your COs? Are they attainable, achievable, or is it sensible? Good average needs to be improved. Student discipline, good average needs to be improved. Then students perform profiling. Top 5, find needing support. It may be top 10, top 20, you decide that. Names are mentioned here. Why? Because we can track them at the end of the term. We can give them counseling, we can give them, because they will have redos. Needing support may have redos, so we have to support them. And action taken. So top 5, what did you do to give them work, and bottom 5, what did you do, detailed plan or some summary of action, what did you do, this performance improvement. Okay. Then teaching challenges. What were the challenges you faced? That sometimes the internet didn't work, I didn't have resources, or there was class got canceled, blah blah, all those things to send it to. And overall, this is called a SWOT analysis: strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and challenges. SWOT analysis. So, what could you have done better, or what could you have done? Positives, what right, and what could have been done better. It can be from the system point of view, from a personal point of view, from the student's point of view. We require an outcome. So this is the challenges for improvement in the CIP next cycle. Then you have got, did you use any new initiatives or new assessment techniques? Please put it there. Why? Because we are looking at that in terms of NAAC, and there may be a process of self-appraisal where if faculty have tried something, and it's not necessary that you should succeed. You can also fail. But if you don't try these things and fail, you will never learn. Therefore, you try something new. Didn't work. Is it mandatory? No. Is it suggested? Yes, because trying something new also empowers you. Then next teaching cycle means next year when the same subject is taught, are there new topics you would suggest? Do you want to delete something? Do you want to make changes in the CO? Do you want to make change in the assessment tool? Do you want any resource or textbooks to be added or removed? Do you want any change in the course schedule or length of duration? Any other suggestions you've got? And please remember, if there's any changes to be made within the CO and within the subject, you don't require academic council. Board of Studies can do the small amendments because Board of Studies meet twice a year. So these can be, micro changes can be incorporated on a running basis. Curriculum design you can't change, but micro changes you can do in the Board of Studies. This is the entire report, and this is the entire audit of the entire course file deconstruct I've given you. Now let me see the audit process. Briefly, I'll talk for about 10 minutes, and in 10 minutes or less than that, I'm done, and we'll open for questions. So let us see the audit framework. Why I'm talking the audit framework? You see, it's like, very simple. That, when you are going to give a student an examination or on an assessment, if you give the rubrics to the person knows what is expected. So this is like rubrics I'm giving you for your course file examination. I'm giving you rubric, what is audit parts. First part, audit normally, like I told you, pre-semester, mid-semester, end semester, and loop closing. So what we check, for example, audit should check for review syllabus, POCO mapping, Bloom's level balance, and modular session schedule, and all that. It happens before the classes begin, right? Mid-semester, the delivery process audit, session logs, review delivery of variances, inspect internal test getting qualities, right? Third stage, end semester, final PO attainment, inspect your transcripts, review students' feedback reports, very important. Then fourth, loop closing, RCA, root cause analysis, and ATR. And this is not done by the auditor. This is done in consultation with the internal auditor. Right? And this is a discussion which the auditor will have. The auditor's job is not to punish you, but to help you improve the process. This is the 4-stage audit methodology, which I am recommending to AQAC. Because this only then adds credibility to the course file. The next part is, what is the exact nomenclature of pre-semester subject planning? This is what I've given here: syllabus, extract, context, modular device plan, audit gateway rationale, complete before term to catch structural flaws. Because gateway rationale is that why I'm auditing it, to find any issues, to find any inconsistencies, and whether there's a possibility of changing the assessment or tool which is better fitting the overall program objectives. That is the reason why we do the gateway means the why we're doing the audit rationale. Okay. First one is the second audit is midterm execution control. Very, very important. That's why it's very big. Very, very big. because this is a teaching pace, which will change, and because of various class comprehension may change, students can't understand, and you've gone through it, you have to come back. Sometimes the topic is very complex, but in many cases, I get very irritated, especially with autonomous institutions. I forget university syllabus, but autonomous institution, and even at deemed university level, what they do, suppose a subject is for 3 credits. 3 credits will mean in a semester 45 hours. So 5 modules. Module 1, 9 hours. Module 2, 9 hours. Module 3, 9 hours. Module 4, 9 hours. Module 5, 9 hours. 45 hours. Are Baba, module 1 is bigger than module 2 because as you have structured it. So does not module 1 require more hours? So you have to understand that. There is no rule which says that each module will have to run for equal 9 hours. You can make it 11 hours and you reduce something else. But it doesn't mean you may make a module 3 hours. Plus minus 20% variation will decide. IQS must decide, okay, if it's 9 hours per module, we'll allow plus minus 20%. That means 9 can become 7 or 11, like that. Within that range, you must work out and get 45. That is where exactly why we want to audit to be done, to understand what is the impact. And I have seen many cases. And sometimes, it looks very small. There are only 5, 6 topics in the particular module. And 9 hours, you will say, oh, very small. No, but the depth of that may be different. And that's why the course plan, session plan will justify the number of hours. I hope I'm making myself clear here. Okay, then this is the supplementary input you require. And this is the class committee cycle process is mandated. Along with this audit, when you do, class committee meeting is important. Like I said, first 3 weeks after the start of semester, end of the midterm, and before the semester closes. Right? This is the class committee. I would really suggest to you. Create some structure where there's reporting system. And class committee, if you're a class chairman, please understand, meet students separately, meet student faculty separately, then get them together formally and let them exchange, because students will talk separately. And if you have a system of mentorship, mentors report also should come into you as a class committee. And class committee is not faculty. Class committee is a judge. Who all are into the class committee? Yes, there will be a non-teaching chairman of a senior position with some experience, right? Then there will be all the teaching faculty of the subject and representatives of the student particular. Suppose it's a BTech mechanical, so there will be one semester 6 subjects. So there will be 6 faculty or 12 faculty depending who teaches it. One class chairman. HOD is not supposed to attend. HOD is not supposed to attend unless he's teaching. And you understand why I'm saying this. I can't go more into it, but please understand what I am saying. HOD should not attend. And then what happens is that you will have to then get student representatives. I normally you take some class representatives, take some people who are more vocal, who are more expressive, and have a gender ratio, to ensure there's gender equivalence. And class committee will have a meeting with them. First, subject, what happened, is there anything slow, is there a problem, so that he gets the report. And then the faculty will come in. Faculty also will give their feedback how the class is going. Then you share with them. Then you get them together so that there's a frank exchange. And it is not to do with canteen food, internet. It's not to do with outings and birthday parties. It is to do with academic only. Be very clear about it. Yeah. So, and then this class committee, class chairman will send recommendations and will give observations, give a report and recommend these things. And these recommendations have to be vetted by HOD and IQAC and deployed. This is why I'm saying class committee becomes important. And class committee also will be sharing information with students. And sometimes, attendance issues, other issues you can share with them so that they are aware that students are aware. And students will go and report back. And the mentor of the class, we have a class mentor system, mentor also gets the report. Okay, and if the mentor is present, mentor can also be a part of the class committee meeting. All right. So I hope I answered that question. Then last is that basically the assessment trigger. What is the logic of it? Logic is given here. The tools is evidence and verifies taxonomy, tagging practical evidence, ensures evidence clarity. This is very simple to read. Please read it. Okay. And attendance record correlates students' attendance rates with assessment outcomes. And in many institutions which I don't like, basically, but that's how we done attendance. Internal marks 5 marks is for attendance. It's like bribing somebody to come to class, but that is something which is a part of the culture. I can't do anything about it. But then attendance has to be monitored. And I know, in fact, all when they give 5 marks, I will never give attendance. I'll make class participation. I'll have a grid, and and I'll ask questions, the answer, they give marks. Just sitting there, doing this is not going to give you. So if I have a class of 60, and I've got 10 sessions, definitely 4 or 5 students randomly I'll pick and I'll beat them to make sure that they get the marks, they deserve the marks they get, not sitting in class. It's again a philosophical statement. That's how it is. Okay. Then the last part is, audit students. Students score and progress tracking. Please understand, outcome-based education is just numbers without effective rubrics. Okay. And what do you do with that? What is the benefit of this? You get a detailed score repositories. Student score sheet you get centralizes continuous evaluation. So the academic dean or the HOD can get one shot snapshot of the student's performance and counsel them. And tomorrow, if there's any issue by the parents or by the students, this is the evidence of your performance. I can show very clearly and transparently. And PO intermediate reports, POCO intermediate reports, midterm evaluation, very, very important, because ultimately, outcome-based education requires a periodic check. So this is a check statement, very, very important. Then early actionable sessions, corrective sessions will come in. Okay, and attendance correlation, attendance, student risk and triggering mind academic counseling. So all these things happen. Therefore, student score and progress tracking becomes critical. And this is a part of the student's report also. If there's a system where you've got a student file, it becomes a part of the report also. And that's why I'm saying, but please remember, outcome-based education is just numbers without effective rubrics. All right, then finally, outcome analysis. This is the POCO attainment matrix, root cause analysis, learner categorization. Again, weak learners and even a 40% score. Why you have to categorize at the end of the term is that because when they're joining away, you must track them throughout. Otherwise, at the end of year 3, they'll have 20, 30 areas. So you don't want that. Especially for a private institution, deemed university or autonomous institution, you don't want you will be in trouble with the management if you have got a 20% failure or 30% failure or 5% failure, even 2% failure is not allowed. So be very careful. RCA, like I said, root cause analysis is a different exercise. That's a very intensive process. It has to be customized to the institution and to the particular subject and the faculty. So please talk to PS Quality about it, and we can arrange something for you. Okay. Then feedback loop closing, student and faculty feedback critical. Yeah. Then action taken for continuous improvement program critical, what you've done, and then documentation reviewed. Final post-plan audit. This is the audit part. And archival of innovation best practices. What I tell HODs is that please pick up and make a report of how the program went. And most institutions don't have annual reports anywhere, which is very sad. Each department must have its annual report, and you should say that teaching, learning, innovation is a paper. We innovator. So you have to showcase it. And if you showcase it, it is a part of the department initiative. It's also a faculty initiative. And you can faculty gets the name mentioned. It is a recognition of a faculty. So that also has to be done. Okay. And then 3-stage audit, because it gives you higher compliance, and traditional year-end file submission is retroactive, killing data, nonsense. Let's improve that. If you implement a pre, mid, and post, it ensures continuous course correction, verified sample scripts, and authoring closing of feedback loops. That is why audit has to be completed. And this is some gateway, leave it at this. This is nothing important. And this is the alignment which I've got. You see, audit plan to delivery. NAC, I've given you compliance here. That also I'm not going to discuss here. Very, very easy. It is a very, very good alignment with standards. Okay. And the strategic improvements, what you can do, dynamic variance tracking, real-time tracking of all the variations you can do. You get actionable, weak and strong protocols. You get a 3-tier script sampling, strict preservation of best, medium, post and performance without rubrics, gives you evidence of your performance, create transparency. And if you've got digital audit sign-off gateways, very, very important, because then you get approved workflows for IQS and HOD, automatically it happens. So therefore, digital versions are much faster and better to do in this case. Finally, do's and don'ts. I mean, for audit gates, faculty should log sessions incrementally. Don't depend upon your memory to do it one fine morning. Doesn't happen. And attach answer keys and rubrics. Very, very important. don't cut and paste from other people, or don't follow last summer's ATR. We will be caught out because the students are different. And don't leave open audit caps. Do not, course file, you should have a sign off from the IQAC. And it should be sign off that is complete. This is some, the list is very big, but some indicative question for faculty at the audit gateway. You understand audit gates? No. 1, 2, 3, I've given. Then finally, I would also like to share with you that the next complimentary webinar will be based on Blooms to Build, AI augmented lesson plans and assignment rubrics. This is on 28th of August, again, 10 to 12:15. And you will learn a lot of stuff. This is not my domain area, and this is not actually my interest area also. So you have a very good expert faculty coming in, expert trainer coming in, who will do this session for you. Please do join and attend, and please also contribute, because this is the way forward. AI augmented is the way forward, because students are using AI, faculty also must use AI. So please do attend, and I'm sure it'll be an interesting seminar, probably better than what I did today, but that's your call. Okay. With these words, I thank you for your attention, and I look forward to answering your questions or comments. Anything you can chat, come online. You can do. Okay. I have finished slightly early, but 11:54, because we are going to share the PPT with you, so I'm okay. Thank you, Ramita, for the thank you. And, I'm standing by. Chitra, I'll wait for 5 minutes and then see if there any question, any query comes in.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Rajni. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Rajni. Yes, Rajnikant raised her hand. Yes, ma'am. Tell me.
Sir, as such, you come across with a very excellent session. Very impressed with this, because this is first time I'm attending this. But thing is, I'm following almost 20 to 30% of this in my practical life since past 15-20 years. Thing is, as such, I faced a personal problem. It is extremely personal. That, as such, you said you may work out with rubrics, you need to work out with results, but management will not accept such a lower rate of pass. How should I work out? This is my personal question, sir.
Okay. Sir, I will tell you a story, 2-minute story. Okay. So may I have your name, sir? If you want to disclose the name, otherwise I will call you some other name. Okay. You are Mr. Sharma. Okay. I'm Umesh. I'm Verma. You are Sharma. Okay. Right? So Verma and Sharma have no job. They are desperate. Their families are very hungry. They get a shop in a wholesale cloth merchant. You know, wholesale cloth merchant, a fellow who sells cloth by the length rolls. You're following? Mr. Sharma, are following? Know what I'm saying? Okay, it's gone off, I think. All right. Anyway, if you're listening, I'll continue. So Sharma Verma find a job with this merchant who's selling cloth by the roll. What happens? You order some cloth for pant shirt. They will measure it on the desk. There's a meter in desk. So the owner says, "Hey Sharma Verma, when you measure this cloth for the customer, just pull it slightly, so that 95 centimeter becomes 1 meter." What you will do? You'll be ethical about it and say, "I will not do." Then you lose the job. So we will pull. Just pull. But you know, I am very loyal to my master. So what I will do? Hey, Verma, come here. Let us both pull from each side. You pull so hard that instead of 95 become 100, 90 becomes 100, all the cloth tears. Right? So set the cloth, but don't tear it. Don't tear it. And let the students also understand that this is a game. I have no, students don't want to fight about it. Students want to fight about NEET. Students don't want to fight about what they're getting out. All it's a political argument. Let's not go into that. But and this is not what Ms. Sharma, Dr. Sharma faced is not a. Oh, thank you. It's not a unique thing. It is a common factor. Which criteria is more important, NAC? Which gives more points? Madam, we don't know. We are waiting for the new NAC, but 5, 6 is the highest. NAC is not saying that, the phrase I normally use, your students should be less on the seat and more on the street. Co-curricular and extended curricular activities are more important now because of the NHQF skilling. And that's a different discussion, Sandhya ji, which is a different seminar totally. Well, we have somebody from Avinashi Lingam University, very close to my heart. My wife is a graduate of that. She's a postgraduate from there. And in fact, my good, mentor, Sheila Ramchandran also was the VC for you. No, I mean, I see the thing is that discipline matters. And I have no answer for you for this because I am from the old school. So I'm not, I have to keep on giving them work. Cannot teach them. You have to keep on giving work, let them do activity-based learning. So basically what we're doing is that we do the model which I use is called A to F model. Activity-based learning, blended learning, collaborative learning, directed learning. Give them YouTubes to learn. Experiential learning. Experiential learning is give them field work. And focused learning. Focused learning is basically what I'm doing is that I'm saying, okay, do the MOOC course, do this course, that course, and cover it up. You cannot teach. If you do PowerPoint for more than 15 minutes, you are dead. In Tamil, they say பாட்டு பாடணும் கூத்து ஆடணும் அவ்வளவுதான் left for us. And not only you have to manage this cell phone disease, which is a problem. So it is difficult. So you have to know you have to operationalize the syllabus. There's no other way. Just sitting and teaching PowerPoint. I mean, could you handle 1 hour session from me? No, I know that. All right. Anything else you would like to share?
Dear participants, if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you, Premaji, for the blue line. I appreciate it. Okay, Chitra, thank you for your support and thank you to all the participants. Thank you again for your kind attention. And if I have said something out of turn, my apologies in advance to you. But please do improve yourself. You are the future. So please work on yourself. Forget about the institute. Forget about what you're supposed to do. Live for yourself. Yeah, unless a workshop RCA that all that will do. Thank you. Thank you very much, and I'm signing off.
Thank you, sir, for an excellent presentation. Dear participants, thank you for your support and active participations. Now we are sharing the screen with flyer of upcoming complimentary webinar in the month of August. So on the topic is Blooms to Build AO Augmented Lesson Plans, Assignment and Rubrics. Participants can register the slot with the link in chat box. And for the present session, we have shared the feedback form e-certification in chat box. Thank you, guys. என்ன சார்? ஆமா, தக்ஷஷில போயிருக்காரு. நேத்துல இங்கதான் இருந்தாரு சார். அதான் நீங்க இல்ல. லிங்க் மேம் அனுப்புறாங்க. லிங்க் போட்டு அனுப்பிச்சா ஒன்னும் பண்ண மாட்டாங்க. எனக்கு தான் சார். ஹலோ ஹலோ. எஸ் மேம். நீங்க யூடியூப்ல கனெக்ட் பண்ணிருக்கீங்களா? நான் யூடியூப்ல அனுப்பியிருக்கேனே பாருங்க மேம். சிவா பிஎஸ்கியூசில இருந்து வந்திருக்கோம் பாருங்க. ஓகே மேம். அவர் பிராக்டிஸ்ல சார் அவருக்கு எப்ப பிராக்டிஸ் ஆச்சுன்னா
மேடம் இந்த லிங்க் ஷேர் உங்களுக்கு யாராவது ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் இருக்காங்க நீங்க தெரிஞ்சுக்கேன்.
அது எனக்கு தெரியும் சார்.
ஒரே ஒரு ஸ்டூடெண்ட் கூட இருந்தா போதும். ஏன்னா ஆனா அவங்க புரிஞ்சுப்பாங்க. அது நம்ம ஒரு ஏஐ வச்சு ஒன்று பண்றோம், நம்ம ரெஸ்பான்சிபிள் ஆகும். ஏன்னா
ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் வச்சா என்ன பெனிஃபிட் இருக்கும் எனக்கு?
they'll see like how a student is answering those questions, attended questions. So they know how to frame it. இல்ல நீங்க யாராவது வளர்த்தீங்கன்னா ஸ்டூடெண்ட் மாதிரி இவங்கெல்லாம் வந்து இந்த ஏஜ் குரூப் இஸ் லிட்டில் on the higher side for me. Students வந்து find them normal standards.
ஏன் வரலன்றாங்க? கைண்ட்லி ஷேர் தட் ஃபீட்பேக் வித் யூ. ஹலோ. இல்ல சார், நான் ஷேர் பண்ணிட்டு தான் சார் இருக்கேன். http/forms இல்லையா, அதுதான் லிங்க். http இப்ப கூட ஷேர் பண்ணிருக்கேன் பாருங்க, ஒரு லிங்க் சிவா PSQC ல இருந்து வரும். ஓபன் ஆகலன்னு சொல்றீங்களா? நான் அனுப்புறது ஷேர் ஆகலையா, போஸ்ட் ஆகலையா? சரி, ஓகேங்க சார். நான் பண்ணிடுறேன் சார். நான் உங்களுக்கு தனியா வாட்ஸ்அப் பண்ணிடுறேன். சரிங்களா?